Come make me tell you about the things them way I want, sir. Back in the days when the dancer used to warm, sir. When Clinton Lindsay used to bust them, make them go on, sir. Whole heap of artists Clinton bring come up America. Some never know say Clinton Lindsay.
Hey, welcome to Now You Know with Clinton Lindsay. This is where I tell my stories. After 45 years in this business, I do have a lot of stories to tell. I want to thank you for your subscriptions and for spreading the word, especially your comments. I really love reading your comments. Now, we're going to continue with the series, My Encounters with Bob Marley. The first one is up now, so I hope you had a chance to see that one. My first encounter with him was in 1971. At the time, I was a student at Crescent Primary School in Spanish Town. I was also the captain of the Crescent Primary School cricket team. And for those who wanted to know, yes, we did win the cup that year. As I said in the previous Take One series, that I was chosen, I was voted to lead the school into its first primary school cup, cricket cup. So we did win. Yeah. And seeing Bob Marley at the prison oval, and now that was 1971. So now we gotta move to my second encounter, 1979. 8 years later, I was at the New York Institute of Technology. I was the entertainment editor for the school newspaper Scope, and as editor, it was part of my job was to review albums, go to concerts, go to plays, go to the movies, and review them for the newspaper Scope. As a student reviewer, the school did issue me a press pass as a student. Professional reviewers from like the Daily News and New York Times, they would get press passes issued by the New York Police Department. But as students, we didn't get that. We didn't get our press passes issued by the New York Police Department. It was by the school. And one of the things I remember quite clearly, as a reviewer, I would have access to go to plays, not on Broadway, but off Broadway. Because when I played off Broadway, that's where they get to tighten the nuts and the bolts. Based on reviews that issued by someone like me, they would do editing and change actors and make it better. So the more favorable the reviews, the closer it gets to get on Broadway. So you would have off Broadway, off Broadway, and there was a joke back then that we all shared. Some shows, some plays were so far away from Broadway that they ended up in New Jersey. That was just an inside joke. When a play finally made it to Broadway, the main stage, that's when they would give passes to New York Times and the Daily News, the New York Post. Those guys, the professionals, so-called professionals, they would get the passes to go and review the shows. Some shows wouldn't make it from off Broadway because they were just so terrible, and so we as students didn't get rid of. If we wanted to see a show that we reviewed off Broadway or off Broadway, we would have to buy tickets like everybody else, which we thought at the time that was so unfair. So in 1979, Bob Marley came to the Apollo Theater. At the time, Bob Marley was determined to reach black Americans. He wanted to reach that community very, very badly. And he did a series of shows at the Apollo Theater. No, prior to that, I've seen Bob Marley at the Madison Square Garden in 1978 when I think rapper Curtis Blow open for him. And I've seen him at Central Park, the Apollo Theatre, not the Apollo, but the Beacon Theatre. But at this particular encounter, again, like the first one in 1971, we had like an eye-to-eye contact, and I'll tell you about it. So now, the show was October 25th. The shows that Bob Marley did a series of shows, having R&B singer Betty Wright as his opening act. It was the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I went to the Friday show, and with my college press pass, the stage door, the side of the Apollo Theatre, the security there, they just didn't really care if, as long as I show something. So they let me in at the side stage door. So I went backstage so I could be a part of the press corps. But unfortunately, the security inside there, Bob and the group were in a room being interviewed by the various media houses, and I couldn't get in. They kind of pushed me out, and I showed them my college press pass, but they didn't. At one point, I remember me looking over and shouting, "Bob, Bob, Bob!" And I thought at the time that he looked up and saw me, and I would. It's not a part of my imagination, but I really thought that Bob saw me and gestured to them to let me through, but unfortunately that didn't happen. I don't remember how I ended up getting the back seat, one of the back seats. If you ever been to the Apollo, there are some back seats right over the stage. You could just look down and see the performers. They would just look up, I don't remember how I got one, but I know I did get one that night. Once Bob came on stage, and every time he would finish a song, that would be me shouting out loud, "More, more, more." And again, I thought that he saw me, and he looked up, who's that guy up there or something like that. I'm thinking. I went back 2 more nights, the Saturday night and the Sunday night. But the other nights I didn't get, I think one night I didn't get any seat. I had to stand at the back at the theater to see the show. Or maybe I got a seat somewhere, but the closest I came to him was the Friday night, and shouting and shouting more and more. I could swear that man saw me and was looking up because I was making all that noise. So that was my second encounter with the King of Reggae. First time, 1971, was a student at Crescent Primary School, and second close-up with Bob, I was a student at the New York Institute of Technology. I know. Now you know. I'll be doing part 3 pretty soon. My final encounter with Bob Marley. Continue to subscribe and continue to tell people about this series Now You Know with Clinton Lindsay. Until next time, you take care. Keep sending your comments. I love reading them. Until then, adios.
Clinton Lindsay, a promoter. Bring up the biggest set of artists from Jamaica. Like Super Cat and Mr. Early be the doctor. Only for artists, no for them, me can't remember. Who can remember when them used to keep Jamaica? The kind of show that used to give out no for water. To reggae artists.